episode of Surviving the Survivor, we bring you the best guests in all of true crime. Don't forget to subscribe and smash that like button. Here's your host, Emmy Award-winning broadcaster, Joel Waldman.
What's up, STS Nation, and welcome to this special live coverage of the STS Book Tour 2024, coming to you from an undisclosed location somewhere in the province of Ontario, Canada. Could be Toronto. Looks like there's 7 of us right now, a massive crew here, including the COE, Modine, America's most famous troll. Just us is all we need. You're 100% right, Modine. And I saw Shaquille O'Neal. But Karm, look at this. Now, all of a sudden, we have grown to 63. We grow exponentially. And it's been a couple of days. We did at least 4 shows last week, which is hard to believe. And Karm and I are kind of running out of steam. But I said, we got to say hello to STS Nation. Wesley John Holmes is in the house, coming to us from Tokyo via Australia. I was just saying to Karm, it's so weird. We're in our random hotel room. You plug in a couple of wires, and suddenly people in Tokyo can see and hear you. So we've been on the road. This is now week 2, and I was in Boston with Karm, and we did put together a story. I spoke to people. I went up to Canton, Massachusetts on the Karen Reed story, and we're going to bring that to everybody as soon as Karm and I can find a open slot in the schedule. But I was just coming to you, Karm. How are you holding up? Most important question of all.
Not well, because I lost my best asset, my voice, that I could scream, and now I can't. But you forgot to tell that story about Karen Reed is actually what you did, a similar thing you did for Charlie Adelson. You drove up and saw where the dental clinic was, where he's...
Correct.
And this time you went out an hour by taxi, Uber rather, and had pictures and stories and interviews. And I want to see it, but I didn't go with you, so I don't know. When are you planning to put that on?
Well, the COE, of course, for the 1900th day in a row this year, our kids did not have school for some reason, even though they were just on vacation. So the COE could not make time. As everyone knows, we do this by the seat of our pants. But we will get that story out this week. We wanted to say hello to everyone. Jersey Tomato. We used to go down to the Jersey Shore when I was a kid.
The best watermelon.
And the best tomatoes.
Tomatoes and corn.
And corn, amazing corn. We used to stop on the way to the Jersey Shore. So Karm and I, we started the book tour last week. We went up to New York City. We did some media. We were on Fox News. We were on the oldest station in New York, WPIX, hello, Jacksonville. And then we went up to Boston, and we were interviewed by ABC News locally there. And we did 2 different events that were both sold out, which was amazing. Dr. Ann Burgess, she introduced us in Boston, which was a huge thrill and an honor for me. Then we went back down to New Jersey, hung out at my sister's home.
For those who don't know, it is going up and down. Is not as simple as it sounds. It's it's not so simple to go up and down. It's a 4-hour train ride, yes. Boston, New York.
And by the way, I won't say all these letters, but hello from the nation's capital, where the COE and I used to live, and we were planning a book stop in D.C. Tara Ellis says, thank you, Tara. If you haven't bought the audiobook, you must. You can listen to Karm and I go back and forth. It's a thing that should have taken 9-10 hours to record. Shout out to Seegert on the Jersey Shore, born and raised in Short Hills. I was almost going to go to the Short Hills Mall. I didn't have time. My sister lives a stone's throw, but we're working on a thing to come down to DC. And the Audible, which should have taken 10 hours, took like 30 hours because Karm refused to curse on the Audible version. And she did curse plenty. But appreciate everyone being here. This was super impromptu. I think I can share this. I'm not sure, but we just had dinner with Phil Markel. So it was amazing to see Phil, and he's doing really well. And he's gearing up, obviously, for the fall when Donna goes on trial. But Phil is just a great guy. I've really come to love Phil dearly. Wonderful human being. Took Karm and I out, and hey, Oregon to Jennifer. But we were hanging with Phil Markel, and obviously he's got a lot on his mind.
You know what it accomplished for me? I never met him before. I saw him during trials and so forth.
Hello, Bonnie.
It made me sad just thinking of what he's going through, and he spoke a little bit about it too. Not being able to see your grandchildren, I think it's a torture.
Yeah, that was, God bless Phil and his family is right. And obviously he's dealing with that, and he's got to every time these victims have a trial, they got to relive the trauma. So, but he's just such a good guy. Cannot overstate how great a guy Phil is. And LM, you're in Toronto tomorrow, 11:30 a.m. We are going to the Holocaust Museum here to speak. From what I understand, there'll be about 3 people there. I hope more show up, but we put that together very last second. We've had sold out crowds in Boston and New York. And then tomorrow night, it's supposed to be a pretty big crowd at Queen's Bookstore here in Toronto as well. And then from there, that's 6:00 tomorrow. So 11:30 tomorrow in Toronto at the Holocaust Museum, and then 6 p.m. at Queen's Bookstore. And then Thursday, we are in Philadelphia at Booked. That's the name of the bookstore, Booked, Chestnut Hill, at 6 p.m. Karm, let me interview you for a moment. How can anyone not feel that poor man's pain is right? Ruth is going to be introducing us at the Holocaust Museum tomorrow. And then I think a member of STS Nation, quite fittingly, will introduce us tomorrow night.
Will Phil or Ruth be there tomorrow?
Yeah, they'll both be there. I think they're going to both be there tomorrow. Phil is coming to the Holocaust Museum. So if you guys want to support the Markels, please come tomorrow to the Holocaust Museum in Toronto at 3. I'm sorry, I'm so tired. At 11:30 a.m. tomorrow.
I am not tired.
On Tuesday. Karm has way more energy than I do, and she's doing well. But yeah, we've been on a crazy, frenetic schedule. Karm, today we were interviewed by the Times of Israel, which I did not know this. It is, if not one of the most widely read newspapers globally. It's in like 100 countries or something. What do you think of the interview? He was really bearing down on you.
And on you too.
Yeah, what do you think of the interview?
He was a good journalist.
Great journalist.
And we made a mistake. We left him too short a time. So we were like those records that you speed up. We had to talk faster.
And
then Phil came and picked us up, and we went to dinner. But the interview itself was very thorough. He did all his work. He watched our podcasts. He read the book. He probably listened to other people.
Yeah. Look at this, Diane. I'll bet you both are exhausted. Honestly, Karm is holding up much better than me. Albeit I'm doing more work than her as per usual, but she is busy signing the book that she did not write.
Yeah, when I was resting, he had to go and look at Toronto.
Yeah, so we've had no time to see any of the cities, which is kind of a bummer, but I do want to, I've never been to Toronto. I've been to Boston.
And we have 2 rooms next to each other, so I don't have complete control of them.
Tomorrow after the Holocaust Museum, is there anything that you would like to see in Toronto, Karm, even though we don't really have time?
Honestly?
You did not know that there was a needle here, the Toronto Needle.
I liked the ride from the airport to here.
Karm, let me ask you a question. Yes, we did hear this rumor that Wendy is moving to Austin, Texas. It's not confirmed yet, but it is believed to be the case. And I'm hearing that she has some family there, and that might be why she's going. Someone related to Harvey lives in Austin, and that might be why they're heading that way, but it has not been confirmed yet. Look at this one, Karm. Maybe you need to add some dates of your own, like Paris, Milan, and maybe Athens. Joel, I would love that, Sir Barry. If you can
I have to
sponsor
remind
that, I would
I
love
have
to
to
do it.
remind everybody, including Joel, that he has a family in Miami.
Yeah. By the way, I do. Toronto is beautiful. It's like Miami weather here out of nowhere. I think it's going
No,
to be 88.
people were eating dinner outside.
Yeah, it was crazy. Do you guys have any questions for Karm? And while you put them in the triple Qs, and while we do that, Karm, what's been your favorite part of the book tour so far? If I had to put you on the spot, which I just did.
Spending time with my son.
Great answer. What's the second most favorite thing of your book tour?
Getting back to New Jersey and hanging out with my grandchildren.
So yesterday we were in New York City at 12:10, and it was set to start at 12:30. There was 3 people in the room, and I said, "Wow, this is going to really suck." And it ended up being 100+ people. All the books sold out. We had Jim Axelrod and by the way, the COE has posted that stop on the book tour. You can watch it live on YouTube.
And a lot of people from the STS
Tara, I'm definitely coming to
family.
Tucson. This is where I met the COE. I met the COE in Tucson, and I'm going to definitely come to Bookman's in Tucson on Speedway. You can mark my words on that one. Probably in the fall, and have some good
don't
friends there.
promise if you cannot keep a promise.
Watch the live on replay. Karm, who's your favorite musician? What a great question. Who is it? I don't even know.
I am in Arrested Development. This question was asked before, and I like all of those from the 60s and 70s. Some are already on life support machines. They're so old.
Well, I wanted to get you tickets to see Bob Dylan, and you said don't dare. I saw him with your dad, and he was terrible.
I saw him a few years ago, and he decided to change his genre to some kind of a real like metal rock or something like that.
Tara Ellis says she'll be at Bookman's. Karm, are you surprised?
I didn't answer the question.
Well, let's go on to the next one.
Okay.
From Bonnie Lee Lopez in no longer chilly Vermont, at least for the next few months. Then it'll get all chilly again. Karm, are you surprised at the reaction from people at the book tours? Now, you have been mobbed. People asking for photos. Literally, people in Boston asked you to write curse words. And what did you do?
I wrote them in Hungarian.
And French. You can curse in Hungarian and French, and you wrote them in Hungarian and French. What is this reception?
Because I was embarrassed of the English cursing.
What's the reception
and
been
everybody,
like?
even the interviewer today said, how could I say those horrible things? He didn't put it in those words, but that's what it sounded like.
By the way, Kim Rowland says, huge shout out. Jim Axelrod is from the same hometown as I am. He had a slightly more successful career than me. I'm not jealous. He's one of the most senior.
Never jealous of anybody.
He's one of the most senior guys at CBS News. What do you think of having Jim moderate the conversation last night?
If we would have given him a chance to open his mouth, maybe he could have said something. But we were just totally riding over him like.
Hey, Brazy Girl and Catherine Rentamsky, if I'm saying that right, we are going to be at the Holocaust Museum in Toronto tomorrow at 11:30 a.m.
Tomorrow being Wednesday.
Tomorrow's
Tuesday. Sorry,
she
Tuesday.
Just completely threw everyone off. Tuesday at 11:30, the Holocaust Museum. And then at 6 p.m., we're at Queen's Bookstore. Please, Brazy Girl and Catherine, come out, because I'm afraid we're going to have 2 people at each event. But yes, you can buy books at the Holocaust Museum, and Ruth Markel will be there, and I believe Phil Markel will be there as well. So it'd be really nice to gather the troops up and bring them, just, if anything, to support the Markel family. California.
I'm sure that not everybody met
Kathy,
Ruth
where are
Markel before.
No. Kathy, where are you in California? Because we have a book signing. Karm is not coming for that leg, but I'm tempted to drag her. But I'll be in LA August 15th, and I'm thinking about going down to San Diego then as well.
My God, he's
Karm,
suffering now from terminal mania.
Karm, can I just talk to you for a moment and tell you my anxiety and my stress?
You have anxiety?
Can I share it right now?
Okay.
It's that I worked really hard on this book, and as you say, so help me God, it is not about the money, but it's about, I want people to read your story, and I'm afraid not enough people are going to get the book. So what can I do?
There's
What can
no
I do?
such a thing as not enough or enough.
What can I do?
There is a people who read the book
I'm going to have
and
to
forget about it. What does it say here?
Kathy's in Los Angeles. We're going to be at the Grove in LA on August 15th. And believe it or not, Sam Rubin was going to host our event, and he just died of a heart attack. He's one of the biggest
Not on purpose.
One of the biggest entertainment reporters. And Andy School is going to regret this typo. Instead of the COE, she said, "How's the cow holding up?" She's no cow, Andy School. She needs a week at a spa with a nanny so she can still be kids, but I'll give her some time off when I get back. She'll be able to go to Publix. That's our supermarket.
I just heard the joke.
What is it?
He says, who is a single mom? A woman with 3 children who has no nanny.
Karm, what about?
This was funny.
Yeah, listen to this. Snake Hip 76. I love your relationship. Wish I had my mommy. For those people who do no longer have their mother, I will not be able to go on. It will be the end of my rope.
He keeps repeating this. He will convince himself in the end.
What is your advice to those who no longer have you're one of them. You no longer have your mother. What is your advice to people who no longer have their mother?
My advice for you is to have somebody to love.
And how do you do that?
Well, Freddie loves you.
Yeah. So I was away. Apparently my kids are teaching Fred Brown how to swim. I got a panic call from my daughter. I've gotten several panic calls.
Oh my God. Now you're going to go into a long dog story at this hour.
Well, today, the panic call I got was actually that
but you forgot
Ethel, since I left, has stopped eating. Vita was only feeding her boxer food, but then she fed her Fred's puppy food, and Ethel ate the bowl of food before she'd even pour it in. So she asked permission from me to be able to feed Ethel Fred's puppy food so Ethel doesn't starve to death while I'm away, and I gave her permission to do that. Look at Romina. Romina, I'm excited to meet you too. This is Toronto's in the house again, 11:30 at the Holocaust.
Romina looks like, so
very
I recognize
pretty.
her tomorrow.
Coming to us from San Diego. I'm going to definitely try to do.
Oh, by the way, yesterday in New York we met a lot of great STS people.
Laura, please, whatever you do, leave us an Amazon review, and please share the book with another friend or another 873 friends. Please do that. My biggest worry is not enough people. The book's not going to reach enough people. That's my biggest worry in life right now. Should be other things. Lost my mom, age 58, on Mother's Day in 1991. I will see her again one day. I believe that you will. And as Karm says, you got to hold on to that love. And I hope we all see each other again. Some people really believe it. Others are skeptical, but to each his own, and everyone's got to have their own level of faith. I genuinely hope.
I think next thing Joel will go from true crime to preaching.
To rabbi. What is this? Rabbi. I don't even know what this is. Oh, this is the Audible version. For those, if you want a clean copy of the book, Karm refused to curse during the writing of the book. So
no, not right.
During the reading of the book. So she,
during the Audible.
The Audible version is actually relatively clean, and you can get it on Audible or Amazon. And this is the book tour. It's hard to believe we're through most of this now. Well, maybe half of it, but we're in Toronto. That's tomorrow, and there's an 11:30 at the Holocaust Museum, and then Ruth is actually going to be at the 11:30 a.m. event tomorrow. Shout out to Ryan D, who is a new member here. And I'm going to see Scott Duffy in a day or so in Philadelphia. And then, believe it or not, we're back next week. And then at the end of next week, the COE, Karm is not going to be able to make it because she's run ragged. But we are going to be, the COE and I are going to be at Crime Con. And I'm actually really looking, for me, that's going to be a little bit of a vacation. Just the wife and I, no kiddos coming this time. And Rosie Woods, I love the fact that you're going to treat yourself to the book for your birthday. So that's awesome. Karm, On a serious note, I mean, did you enjoy Boston more or New York more in terms of the signing?
Uh,
Look at
it's
this.
very hard.
Bonnie Lee Lopez, who can sometimes be my harshest critic, like you, Karm. She says, I really enjoyed the interview with Jim Axelrod. Jim Axelrod was hosting a lot of 48 Hours on CBS News. Now he's part of the Eye on America
Here is the
franchise.
interesting thing about this book tour stories.
Look at this. She started the Audible yesterday and only has 1 hour left. It's 8.5 hours. I hope you're, please, J.O. Khan, please leave an Amazon review. Everyone, please leave us an Amazon review. It's a huge deal. You'll see Ruth, and you're going to probably see Phil Markel, Romina, if you come at 11:30 to the Holocaust Museum.
Now I had such a good statement.
And I cut you right off. And Maui
analysis-
Swift is one of our OG followers. Love Maui. Maui, I know you will leave us a very nice Amazon review. What I asked
Joel,
of everyone,
this is why you called me in?
could everyone
to
just
just,
give one
talk
book
about
to
the-
a friend? Pass it
No,
along. Go ahead,
Joel,
Karm.
you are wrong to do this. They are very interesting.
What were you saying, Karm?
Take your hand off.
What were you saying?
Now I forgot, but it was very deep. I know I wanted to analyze what happened at this meeting. Oh, I know what I wanted to say. You see, actors repeat the same lines night after night after night. And I couldn't be an actress if you paid me, because every time we have now a book tour event, I have to talk about something else. And I cannot stand talking about the same thing over again, even though it may be the thing they want to hear. So luckily, Jim Axelrod asked the questions, so I wasn't forced to invent new stories when we were doing the presentation. But I mean, it would be too boring to always say the same thing. And the other thing that could happen is that somebody shows up at two different things and they hear the same thing. How boring can that
Well, we're
get?
going to switch it up tomorrow. Oh, look at this. Ryan D says, not a new member, just returning. Jersey in the house. I love it. I live in Nashville, volunteering at CrimeCon from Summit, New Jersey. Look at that. Love you both. You guys are my reason for. Oh, thank you, Ryan. I would have thought Ryan was like a 37-year-old retired baseball player, but that's a very cute name, I think, for a female. So I get tricked every time. What you think are the boys' names are girls' names. Look at this. Karm can't get a word in. Let Karm speak. Karm, speak.
Well, I just made the statement how difficult it is, how actors do it with such ease that in a theater, actors repeat the same thing night after night after night. But what's interesting also is that they also are affected by the reaction of the people present there, right? So maybe it's not exactly the same according to the response of the public. And yesterday we had a fun little side thing that happened. J.L. Coven, professional stand-up comic. Where is this? Does this stuff appear?
You can find JL Covan on Twitter is his big platform, and YouTube, and he's a stand-up comic, and he does one of the funniest Trump, no political thing here, but he does do a hilarious Donald Trump impression, spot on. And he also does Mitch McConnell. And when he does Mitch McConnell, he has to get into the stance and talk like McConnell. I do that. And it's hilarious.
And he was there yesterday at the presentation, came as a guest, and we asked him to say a few words as Donald Trump.
Are we on the best book list yet? Not yet, but we're going to get there. We're going to get there quick.
Who is Scott?
Scott Duffy. Don't let him know you asked that question. That's Philadelphia that we're going to see Scott. Let me ask you this. What have we not discussed on the book tour that you think we should? Because we've kind of been a little redundant, but we change it up every time a little bit, but what do you think we have not discussed that we should? That's a good question. Thank you. Thank you for asking.
How to go back as soon as possible and restart doing serious podcasts.
We're going to get back
How
to
many, how
serious,
many more days of Karen Reed are left?
like weeks. And by the way, again, for those who are coming in late, when I was up, I look like Ed Sullivan doing that was my Mitch McConnell impression of JL Covan doing his Mitch McConnell impression. We are, what was the question? I'm so tired. I can't even think straight.
Joel, don't do that. Nobody forced you to come on tonight.
I just can't remember what I was going to say. I'm not yelling at anyone for that. I'm just telling you, I can't. There was, I remember. So when I was up, for those who came in late, when we were up in Boston, look at this, Mom. What do you say to this from Snake Hips? #1 bestseller. You watch and see. I'm calling it. It will be the #1 book in America by fall.
I'm
I'm
not a superstitious person, but I get a little bit tensed up when they say things like that because it's okay for me if we are #5.
It's going to take the STS community to get there. It's going to take the Amazon reviews to get there, but we have the best community in the world, and I know they're going to help us get there.
But guys,
share this story.
This book is basically very loosely related to the podcast, and not everybody will want to buy it. And Joel will get furious at me.
It's all about you, Karm.
It's talking people out of it.
So this is back to Rosie Woods. I toured Canton. I did. So I had like 2-3 hours spare time. By the way, when I finally get done with this book tour and go home, I'm going to sleep for like 97 hours.
Canton, he toured and he interviewed people, interesting people. And he did a great job.
You haven't seen it yet, but I
know you did
over
a great job because you gave up your afternoon nap for this.
Yeah, I
between the morning lunch and the evening event.
I switched back to reporter, Joel, and I went up to Canton and I filmed the Waterfall Bar and Grill, CF McCarthy's. They wanted to kill me there. They saw me from a mile away. They were not happy. By the way, CF McCarthy's is next door to D&E Pizza, which is owned by Chris Albert, and he wanted to come and destroy me. Of course, the COE's chiming in that I did a great job minus the audio issues. It was pouring rain, and I'm on an iPhone, so I don't know what she expects of me. She expects more of me than Karm does. But anyway, in my spare 5 minutes, I ran up there for 2.5-3 hours, interviewed a bunch of people, and it's a tour like I did with the Adelsons. You'll see the courthouse. You'll see CF McCarthy's. You'll see the Waterfall Bar and Grill. You'll hear from people in town. You'll see 34 Fairview Road. We were going to do the story today. My finger blocked the microphone. I didn't even know there was a mic on a phone. Who knew? That's your problem. That's Space Coast problem, not mine. But anyway, one of these days we're going to play it. I just want to apologize to everyone. Obviously, we're on a chaotic schedule right now with the actual podcast. Things will get somewhat back to normal, but then I realized next week is CrimeCon, and then I realized the week after that we're going to Tallahassee. But part of what we're doing in Tallahassee is a live podcast from Tallahassee, so that should be really interesting. Look at this. It's so peaceful to not need to be #1. Thank you, Karm, with a beautiful...
Absolutely. You know what he calls me.
What do I call you, Karm?
And I don't mind it.
Mediocrities?
Mediocrities.
True Virgo says, so Joel's the reason why there was no court today. Yes, I broke through the police line when I was there. Yeah, Maui Swift says, don't blame Chris Albert. I'll tell you what, though, he was not happy to see me. I can tell you that. He was glaring at me.
Who is Chris Albert?
Chris Albert is the brother of the person who owns the house.
Oh, yeah.
With Karen Reed. The temperature in Toronto is stunningly beautiful. It's like in the 80s, which is unheard of.
70s,
80s. Heather says, thank you to you.
Let me tell you one thing.
Can I confirm what's closed? I'm sorry. D&E Pizza? D&E Pizza was wide open when I was there. If that's what you're talking about.
Let me tell you about New York City yesterday. It was wild. People step on each other. There is not enough sidewalk.
Yeah, when you watch the media from Florida, it makes it seem, maybe because I had Turtle Boy on, maybe that's why he was glaring at me. I have no idea. I honestly can't remember what I was just saying.
about the crowds in New York.
Oh, so if you watch
It's
media,
wild. New York is kind of stressful.
yeah,
I'm too old.
snake
They
hips.
say it's not for very old people because you just have to watch if you'll survive crossing the street.
Great question here. Snake hips, we're going to be at Donna's trial for the entirety of Donna's trial. And again, we had my book better have better reviews than D&E Pizza, I'll tell you that.
May I say something about snacks? Somehow Joel told me, if I understood this correctly, that tomorrow at Toronto in the afternoon at the bookstore, there will be food, right? Somebody is donating food.
That's at night, Carmen. You have to
I
wait
said
till
in the afternoon.
6 p.m. That's evening.
That's afternoon still. Anyway,
snake hips.
I lost my voice and I will lose it again. And I love you guys. And if you have any questions,
hang out for 5 more minutes while I answer this question. So you were mentioning being in South Florida compared to New York. So when you watch the media, it makes it seem like everyone in the world has left New York City. Daniela is obviously in the 305, where we're now living. But New York City was packed, vibrant, crazy, full of life. It's a place that I like to visit for 3 hours and leave. But yeah, I can't say that I would want to live there anymore. It's like $100 billion to live in a shoebox size apartment and everyone's in your face constantly. But I grew up in that.
And you know what was interesting? I'm not going to what is it, rat on New York City?
Joel, I think Karm was trying to give a shout out, please. Oh, and remind me about Ethel COE. Joel, I think Karm was trying to give a shout out to an STS member who donated food. Her name, all I know is her name is Biana. And this is why I always say best guest, better community. Biana has a catering company here in Toronto. She, of her own volition, went to Queen's Books and they are catering our event tomorrow. So I really do hope that they told her there was going to be 70 people. I don't think that's going to be the case, but they're bringing food for that many people. So I'm a little nervous.
No, but she wrote something that she'll bring in food for 100 just in case there are more people.
What do you think of the, you know what, Bonnie Lee Lopez, John, I'm going to single-handedly cancel John Singer. He didn't show up at my thing. He said he probably would be able to. He doesn't like dogs, so I'm going to start to cancel this guy. He knows it.
He wanted to poison his own dog.
What do you think of our community that someone we don't even know is going to bring food to our event to cater, not just for us, they're catering the event tomorrow? What do you think of that?
That's pretty amazing. But I tell you another thing. We observed already that people in Toronto are very, very friendly, like visibly friendly.
Yeah.
The Canadians.
They're saying, Karm, to take vitamin C. They're also saying
I took airborne
thieves lozenges, which means throat lozenges, snake hips. I'm almost sure of that. She doesn't mean to steal lozenges. So you should take some lozenges. Karm started he owns the 2 dogs. Bonnie Lee Lopez, he owns 2 dogs, but he does not really take care of those 2 dogs by his own admission. I want to tell everyone a funny story here. The COE told me an amazing story. Again, why this community never disappoints. This woman says to the COE, she reached out. I wish I know her name, but I don't. She said, I've been stalking Ethel. That's our boxer. She says to the COE, I'm like, what do you mean you're stalking Ethel? She says, Ethel looks so much like my dog, my boxer, Louie. And
she's from Texas.
And Louie lives in Texas. And she says the tongue, the face, Louie's got a crazy long tongue. She then reaches out to the COE and says, was Ethel born on May 9th of 2000, whatever 3 years ago was, 21? And we say yes. And it turns out that we both got Louie and Ethel the same day, same place. So Louie and Ethel, by method of deduction, are brother and sister. Can you believe this? So just randomly.
So this is the first family that's related to us.
STS
through
Nation.
ST, like blood, as somebody wrote down, blood relation.
That was COE. We're literally related to Louie the boxer. It's Ethel's brother, and I've asked the COE 100 times today for
Guys,
pictures
did you ever hear of
Louis. I want to
Did
see
you ever
Louis.
hear of this term 6 degrees of separation?
Yes.
Like
Same
if people go, oh, let's say you meet somebody and you say,
they know what 6 degrees is. You know what they say, right? It's Kevin Bacon, because somehow Kevin Bacon has been in a movie with everyone, and there's only 6 degrees of Kevin Bacon. Like if you're an actor, someone knows you've been in a movie that Kevin Bacon's been in. So they call it 6 degrees.
No, it's 6 degrees of separation. But in this case, it was a 0 separation between Ethel and Louis.
COE, is there any advancement on getting a photo of Louis the boxer, who's Ethel's brother? I mean, it's really hard to believe. Karm, while we're waiting for an answer there, look at this. So this come up a few times. Adopt me, Karm. Would you consider adopting any more children?
I think I'm going to start a group adoption.
Would you do that? And how would that work? Oh, it's on my Instagram, the COE says. I haven't even had time to look at it.
Do you think it's appropriate to tell them who came?
Jen, thank you.
Wait a second. Be careful how you phrase it. But you remember the guy who came with his little daughter?
My friend?
Sperma.
Oh, yeah.
We have a terrific story to tell you.
So prior to becoming True Crime, me and Karm, just talking about nothing, and we had 2 followers. Anyway,
we were talking about fun things, but all over the place.
So I noticed this guy at the New York book signing, and he looks very familiar. And his name is...
He was with a little girl.
Yeah, and his name is Ari, but he goes by the Sperminator. And he has had...
be careful how you phrase it.
He's inseminated at least 100. He has over 100 children.
And he does it in a test tube, like...
No, not all of them. Not all of them.
All of them.
Yeah, he was at the signing. The Sperminator was at the signing. He just decided
because when we initially...
He was supposed to send me pictures. Yeah, the Sperminator was there. People were just...
But we didn't expect him. We didn't see him for 4 years. And he came, and we asked if he's still busy, and he said he's very busy, and he was with a lovely little 8-year-old girl, and he introduced her as one of his 100 children.
Back then, so the Sperminator, his name is Ari.
And that day he was on Phil's show.
Dr. Phil, he's been featured on Dr. Phil.
But he was on Dr. Phil's show.
Yeah. He's Dr. Phil to you, but his real name is Ari
he's
something. He's a college professor.
College professor in City College.
But he wanted to give back to the world, and he did it with his sperm. And he makes Nick Cannon look like a celibate monk. This guy, no joke, has 100. At last count, he had at least 100. I want to say 120 children with all different women. I'm serious. 120 he had. And it goes up like exponentially.
Anyway, if you think that he spends nobody unusual there, you're wrong.
Yeah, and he sees his kids. That's what's crazy. He makes time for his kids. Every day he's like with a different kid. You can Google him, the Sperminator. The Sperminator. Aunt Clara, you're not missing much. Don't worry, Aunt Clara. Yeah, so...
we are sorry we were out to dinner, and this is just a little... How do you say impromptu? Impromptu. Anyway, I think we should call it a night before I choke.
Karm, I asked you a question that you never answered.
I think he donates.
Jennifer Jansen, by the way.
He's a professor.
Yeah, he donates. Jennifer Jansen was at our signing yesterday with her doctor husband. Very sweet, nice couple.
Yeah.
And it was great to meet her.
Yeah, I know what she looks like now. Exactly.
But I asked you a question. Is he single? He is, Linda Mon. He's not a bad looking guy. He's got deep blue eyes. He's got very, very blue eyes.
Intelligent.
And he is he's a math professor. But Linda, you'd have to accept 120 kids into your family. It's a big dinner table.
It's a big commitment.
It's a big commitment. Karm, you never answered my question, which is, what have we not covered on the book tour that you think we should?
I think I'm going to take the 5th because I'm tired.
Tell me. What do you think? Because we should probably do it tomorrow.
I'll think about it by tomorrow morning.
Okay. Well, well,
So yeah, I would love to enlarge my family. I don't have that many people,
the Sperminator does not
and I'm
support them
gonna
all.
adopt whoever wants to be
It
adopted.
would be impossible to sport 120
Listen, if he can make
kids unless you're Jeff
120
Bezos. Jeff
babies,
Bezos could do
Joel,
it. Yeah.
if he can make 120 babies, I can adopt 120 people.
Yeah, look, Miley Swift brings up, I have to agree with this statement. You can't parent 120 kids. Come to Michigan, please. I have a friend in Ann Arbor. That's a possibility.
Well, not all of his
Oh,
children.
look, Jennifer Jansen. I definitely saw the sperm donor. He stood out. He was wearing a bike hat with like the little lid flipped up, and he was with one of his 120 kids. I think people have asked him if he knows all their names, and he does, which is kind of crazy because I couldn't remember 100.
That's why he's a math professor. Yeah. He is brainy.
Another few minutes. If anyone has final questions for Karm, triple Qs. Bonnie Lopez says, "My parents are both gone. Karm, please adopt me." What advice would you give to Bonnie Lee Lopez? She lives in very chilly Vermont. Would you tell her to move to a more temperate climate, Karm?
We will make all these decisions after the adoption is formalized.
And look, now Aunt Clara wants you to adopt her. You're very much in need.
But now I don't have a pen, and I don't. We'll have to talk about all this again, what it implies.
Karm, for the 30 seconds we've been in Toronto, what's your impression of the city?
No, we have been here since the early afternoon, and everything that I saw and everybody I saw, I think it's just like Americans fantasize about Canada. Mm-mm. It's more gentle, calm, no guns.
Yeah, you get out. What's been your favorite? And she's Canadian, because look how she spells favorite. Out of Boston, New York, Toronto, which have you enjoyed the most so far?
Well, in Boston, I enjoyed Boston the most. In New York, and here, everywhere I enjoyed.
What's the big bookstore in Ann Arbor? Someone let me know. What's the name of the big bookstore in Ann Arbor?
What was your favorite
Snake Hips used to ski down the hills on the Ann Arbor campus.
I think that all three. I mean, we didn't see the cities that day. When we went to the museum, we were on Wall Street, and there is a bull there in front of a statue of a bull in front of the stock exchange, New York Stock Exchange, and there were like at least 50 people taking pictures of the bull. It's a symbol of good investments, I guess.
Look at this. Aunt Clara is coming to LA. We're going to be at Barnes & Noble at the Grove on August 15th, and I'm going to get some more. Look at this. I met Nikki Cuds. What is there to say about Nikki Cuds?
I have a story to tell you before
Nikki Cuds was awesome. I
have a story to tell you.
Miss you, Nikki.
Joel.
Yeah.
Where was the place where you threw out my food and had to go in the garbage?
Oh, that was hilarious. That was in Boston. Karm has like a weird eating habit. So
why?
She wanted she wanted, so I forget what, and I wanted something else, and I thought she was done, and so
no.
We were waiting.
I said to him,
this is in Boston.
In Boston, they announced in the train station before we went back to New York, don't leave your luggage. And I said to Joel, I have to go to the ladies' room, and you watch everything, and I'll be right back. I come back, my handbag is there, my luggage is there, but my food that I just bought 10 minutes before
is gone. She ate half the sandwich. So where's my food? I said, oh, I think it might be over there. And I pointed over there.
And you want to know something? You're going to now get sick when I tell you. I made him go back to the garbage.
I placed it perfectly it was in a bag within a bag. And I just literally placed it in the garbage. So I had to go retrieve it.
I have
Karm, like the Holocaust survivor she is, she ate her sandwich. But it was in a bag within a bag within a bag, but it's still in the garbage at the Boston Amtrak station.
Who knows what I ate?
Heather goes, oh no. So if Karm actually survives this, it'll be. I feel like I might not survive this, but Karm, she's actually holding up much better. I'm on.
No, I'll have a coughing fit when I go back to my room.
I'm on the verge of.
And I love you guys, and I love you, America.
So we wanted to pop in, which is what we just did. We were able to do a 45-minute live. We do have Linda Mon said she would have done the same thing as you. But everyone, thank you so much for hopping on this impromptu live. We're going to get back to somewhat normal. I'm going to do Bonnie's going to love this, but I'm doing Phil and Scott this Friday. I'm planning to. We should be back in New Jersey, God willing, on Friday. We will be doing it at 5 p.m. Eastern time. I'll try to do a show before then. We have this Canton tour I did of the Karen retrial. At the very least, the COE will have it. What's up, Mind of Monsters? How are you? At the very least, speaking of Mind of Monsters, we were talking, since we were going to be in Philly, about doing an Ellen Greenberg protest, but I spoke to a bunch of people. It's the Friday of Memorial Day. Everyone is gone. It's not a good time, but we're going to reschedule it, and we're going to try to do something probably in the fall when we're really well organized and it's not one foot in the book tour and one foot in something else. Come to Toronto. We're in Toronto, Marilena. We're going to be at the Holocaust Museum in Toronto tomorrow morning at 11:30 a.m., the Holocaust Museum, and at 6 p.m. tomorrow at Queen's Bookstore. Queen's Bookstore. I think it's on Queen Street. Queen's Bookstore tomorrow at 6 p.m. But now, Marilena, you have no excuse because we are here
we told you so.
In your hometown. Karm, my back is starting to go. Are you worried about that? You've seen my back go out before. I will have to crawl army style.
Is that the same Jansen?
This is Jennifer Jansen. Corey Richard's case is imploded. I have not followed it. Unfortunately, I'll get back into the whole true crime mix next week. But Jennifer Jansen, let me know what's going on. Surviving the Survivor at Gmail. I'll Google it, but I'm sure a lot is happening. Listen, the biggest gift you can give my mom and myself.
No, don't cut it out.
Get the book and share it with a friend. And please leave an Amazon review. There it is. The clean version is the audible version because Karm refused to curse. Took us 100 hours to record it. Thank you. Let Catch. Thank you. If I'm reading, I can't even see straight anymore. Welcome to Toronto is what Marilena meant. Thank you so much. We are here and hope to see you tomorrow. And let us know when you're going to do that for Ellen. Her billboard is over by the stadium. We were actually invited. The Philadelphia shoulder surgeon has invited Karm, Scott Duffy, and myself to a Phillies game on Thursday, which I plan to go to. Karm says she doesn't do baseball, but we'll see. Snake Hips, let me know what you think of Audible, and please leave a review. Elle, if you got your book, please leave an Amazon review and let us know what you think. I'm reading all that.
Okay, guys.
Sky resigned. Wow. Sky Lazaro resigned. She's the criminal defense attorney that's been on my show quite a few times. I had no idea that she resigned. Karm, what do you think of that? This is a woman accused of poisoning her husband using 5 times the lethal dose of fentanyl. Now her pretty savvy criminal defense. By the way, she has the worst audio and Wi-Fi, but other than that, she's a good attorney. She has now quit the case. What do you think?
I don't know if they had a fight. You don't know if she didn't tell her facts, and then she was caught with her proverbial whatchamacallit down.
Elf, the answer to that is yes, please do that. Interesting. She resigned. Money must have run out. That's a problem. Most of the money came from his side of the family, so from the Richard side of the family.
Joel,
but we will be deep back in true crime. Is this your way of saying you need to?
Wait a second. I have a question.
Yes, go on.
This is the case where she wrote a children's story on it?
Correct, Karm. Very good.
Oh, yeah. Joel, there were
look at this. I can't believe my biggest critic coming back with another compliment. Joel, there were many parts of the book that made me cry and other times laugh so hard. Great book. Thank you. Bonnie, leave an Amazon review. Do it tonight, Bonnie. And also,
that's so
Bonnie,
annoying. Why cannot you just say thank you? And
Bonnie, in the 7 feet of snow that's melting in Vermont, walk over that book to your neighbor. Better yet, tell them to order on Amazon.
How do I get your audio book in Switzerland?
My mother lives in Switzerland.
My sister is right now in Lausanne.
You should be able to get it on Audible. It should be possible. Let Jasmina email me, survivingthesurvivor@gmail. The physical book should be available on Amazon in Switzerland, and the Audible should be available in Switzerland too. And if it's not, email me at survivingthesurvivor@gmail.com.
I'm timing you. You have 30 seconds.
Karm,
Oh my God, it's later than you think.
look at Bonnie Lee Lopez. I'm
What
not
did
your
she
biggest.
think?
You're one of my biggest critics, Bonnie. But I still love you. It's not that I don't love you, Bonnie. My mother's one of my biggest critics, and I still love her. Look at this, Kara Williams. Bonnie Lee Lopez. That's sweet that she bought several books as gifts. Kara Williams here. See you tomorrow. Can't wait. Kara Williams, we can't wait to see you either. Special shout out to Space Coast on the West Coast. Steve Cohen holding down the fort. All the mods, who I'm not going to mention by name because I will miss one, but thank them so much for their help. And of course, the inimitable COE, the chief of everything, holding down the fort with my kids, doing the hardest job there is. And again, as I said, I will allow her to run to Publix once I'm back for a 30-minute break when I get home. Is that fair?
Very fair.
Is that sweet? No, the
The whole half hour.
The COE and I are going to be going. Yeah, the dogs are. I think they're crazy. Maybe because yours truly is not there. I don't know, but they're
Okay.
out of sorts.
Say good night.
Karm is so good. Philly loves you. Richard Lockhart. We'll see you at Book Chestnut Hill on Thursday.
I forgot to say just one more thing. What is lovely? It's lovely in New York. It's lovely in Boston, and it's lovely in Toronto. I was thinking here it won't be. What's lovely is that everywhere there are brand new little green leaves on trees.
Hey, Richard Lockhart, do you know how I could get the Philadelphia Phillies to welcome Karm to the Phillies game?
Oh, Joel, you have major manias. I'm going to say good night, everybody. Love you. I'm going. My room is next door. He can talk to you guys as long as he wants.
Love you all. I'm exhausted. Tomorrow morning, again in Toronto, 11:30 at the Holocaust Museum, 6 p.m. at Queen's Bookstore. Karm, you always get the last word. Thank you all for, by the way, before she gets that last word, for hanging in there with us. I know the last 2 weeks have been a little crazy, but we'll get a few more shows in, a couple of impromptu lives. Phil and Scott on Friday. Karm, you get the last word because you're the boss.
I'm a little emotional about after having dinner with Phil. I feel badly for him.
That's Phil Markel.
Phil Markel. So good night and bye, family.
What did Edward R.
Future adopted children of mine and present children of mine.
And grandchildren. And how did Edward R. Murrow sign off? Good night.
Good night and good luck.
Good night and good luck, everyone. Love you, America. Love you, the Republic of Ireland. Love you, Vermont.